Welcome back to the Deep Dig A Sports Pod. I'm your host, D. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Drop some comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Saturday seen two upsets, one of Utah, one of Ole Miss. We'll go ahead and start with Ole Miss. Ole Miss took on Kentucky at home. Kentucky comes out, and I mean, just from the opening kickoff, they knock out the kick returner and almost force a fumble. And that just kind of set the tone for the rest of this game. Ole Miss just really could not get this going as on offense. And Kentucky, you got to give Mark Stoops and what's his name? Brock Vandergrift some credit here because they did not back down. They could have easily, after they fold to South Carolina, after they don't get the win at Georgia, they could have just been like, all right, it's right this season off. We're done here. But instead, they keep playing tough, and they went out there and they showed no fear against this Ole Miss team that has been blowing out tomato cans, stacking the pads. Everyone's like, okay, even myself, I got a little bit like, oh, okay, well, I'm already looking at like the tougher games for Ole Miss in the SEC. They couldn't even get through Kentucky. I was over here like, okay, well, Jackson Dart's going to be in the mix for the Heisman. If he has a good showing against XYZ team, if he continues to put up these numbers, they drop another 50 burger on Kentucky. He keeps it rolling. He puts his name out there. They went out there and they just smacked him in the mouth. And realistically, this was a game of coaching. And Ole Miss just showed that I don't know what's going on with Lane Kiffin, but this was a poorly coached team. This was a team that went out there and shot themselves in the foot, and they committed penalty after penalty. They had that bullshit where they were just outrageously faking injuries. They just did not look good. They missed a field goal at the end. That's like football karma. You deserve it. I know on the broadcast that they were saying that Lane Kiffin had told his guys, we are going to get penalties. I don't care about that as long as we play smart and don't have stupid ones. Lane, your team just showed that you should not give them that leash. Why are you going to give them that leash? That was ridiculous. On the first touchdown that Kentucky had, it was basically gift wrapped by your defense. They had the long defensive pass interference. Then after that, they had a holding in the end zone to put it on the one. Your team gift wrapped 7 points to this Kentucky team. And then on offense, you just couldn't get it done. Jackson Dart just looked lost out there. And you're an offensive guy, Lane. Your team was out there dropping 50 on people, and then you can't get it done. This Kentucky Wildcat front seven looked great. They were getting after him. They had Jackson Dart looking lost. His Heisman hopes have died at this point, unless he can do something miraculous the rest of the season. But realistically, they showed on the front, their offensive line, they are going to be soft. They are not going to handle the rest of this SEC schedule like they did the tomato cans that they faced at the beginning. And so that gives me no confidence that they are going to be able to handle this moving forward. Eventually, someone's going to pop them in the mouth again. And it might even be the South Carolina team that they have next week, because South Carolina also has a good front seven. They have one of the most dominant pass rushers in the college game so far. So that's going to be a test for them. Can they fix from week to week what they're doing? Because I know what Kirby Smart had said 2 weeks ago when they faced Kentucky. You can't judge the SEC teams on a week-to-week basis. But so that means you are going to have to fix yourself this week. Can Ole Miss do it? Can they get up from the ashes and figure it out and make sure that they are a playoff team? I don't know, because they just went out there and they played so soft. And that's something that you can't teach over the course of the season, is how to be tough. And they just don't have it at this point. And it's probably on Lane. It's probably on the quarterback. I don't know what they're going to do moving forward, because, again, that's not something you could just fix in game. Now moving to the other top 10 upset, Arizona, another Wildcat. Arizona goes out there and just stomps Utah. And this was a Utah team that, again, Cam Rising for the last 2 weeks now has been like, okay, I'm game to game. I'm going to be a game time decision. Oh, not going to be able to play. What is going on with Cam Rising? Why is he not playing if he was going to it was very this close to playing 2 weeks ago? Why could he not get out there on the field? And this was a team that in Arizona and this Big 12, the Big 12 is so crazy. This is going to be such a crapshoot as far as who's going to make it. If it is not BYU or Iowa State that is going to win this conference, then I don't believe that they should have a first round bye in the playoff because that's kind of ridiculous. We've seen that all of these Big 12 teams have weaknesses. They are not up to snuff at certain points, and you never know. It's a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get on a week-to-week basis. We've seen Arizona go out there and just get stomped, I believe, 2 weeks ago on Friday night to Kansas State. They looked horrible. Noah Fida just kept force feeding McMillan, and then after that, just did not know what to do. This week, he comes out and he lights it up. They looked awesome, and Utah just could not figure it out offensively. And I don't blame them. Well, you know what? I do blame them because it's your fault. You put all your eggs in the Cam Rising basket, and you've seen what happens with that guy every single year moving forward. He just gets hurt. He doesn't play games. You lose and you mess up because of it, and it messes up your whole season. And you put all your eggs again into that Cam Rising basket, and you deserve what you get because you didn't have a guy behind him that you felt comfortable with. And yeah, last week Isaac Wilson got the win for Utah, great. But before that, 2 weeks ago, when Cam Rising, 2 weeks ago, when they were trying to just kind of figure it out, it was like, okay, we're going to run the rock. We're going to ask him to do minimal because we don't feel comfortable with him. And I don't believe that from, then to now, he's gotten all this confidence and he's gotten so much better. And obviously we've seen it on the field. He just doesn't look comfortable. And your whole team, Utah rides with Cam Rising, and you get what you deserve because you knew what you had moving forward. You should have had someone that you felt 100% comfortable with. If Texas could have Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning, a 5-star, then you as Utah should be able to have at least one quarterback that you felt comfortable with moving forward, and you don't. That's on you, and you deserve it. This Big 12 is going to be crazy down the stretch. All these teams have their weaknesses. All their teams can show on any given Sunday or any given Saturday that they can go out and beat each other. It's going to be very, very interesting down the stretch to see who actually comes out on top. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Drop some comments. Just let me know your thoughts, what you thought about this entire weekend of college football. I thought it was awesome. I want to hear from you. All right. Later.